In today's video, we will code the working of our data class. So previously we developed this interface. So I have given unique names to these two since they will be useful for us in our class. So we have developed. I have given these name one and name two to these. So we will be using this. So let's go to the data class. So this is a data class. So first we need to create a function that was next. So it will be executed as soon as the user clicks the next button. You're already familiar with this. So we need to import this class. uh, I have imported it. So as you can see, it is imported here. So we also need edit text. So edit text, so remember the uh, this plain text we used that to get inputs, it is known as edit text. So to use it, we need to import the edit text class. So it is dot, it can be imported in write dot white get dot edit text. So as you can see, it is imported now. So now it can be used for us. So also we need to we remember we uh, sent forward two variables from the last class that were single and multiply. So from, let me show you real quick. From this we send these two variables from this class. So we need to receive this. So to receive variables, what you have to do is you have to create an object of the intent class, but instead of using the class, you have to use get intent. So now we can have access to those variables. So those variables can be accessed that we obtained. So now let's create two global variables. Global variables are accessible to the whole program. So they are not limited to just one method. They can be accessed in the whole class. So whole program, actually, this whole class, I should say. So I'm gonna call them S and M. I'm gonna give them integer data types since we need integer data type. So it will store the value of single player and multiplayer, whether it's uh, S or M, where it's giving us an error here. So let's move these inside. So now it shall be accessible by the whole program, if I'm not wrong. Right, so we have created our variables, and what we can do is we have to store the result of these into our variable. So let's we will do that for now, getting the result and storing it. So let's first we need to store the result of single, so whether it is 1 or some other value. So I will use the s1, then I will use the intent dot get int extra since our value was integer. So I will then use the name that was single. Then I will use the default value. So you can give any default value. So I am giving it 0 since it will be a default value. Similarly, I need to create it for multiply to receive the multiply. So I will just change this by multiply. So now both of these are removed. Sorry, both of these are accessed, and we have gotten the values of previous variables that we stored. Also, we need to now I need to edit this text. Suppose I want to edit. Uh, I want to edit this hint or anything. So it can be edited by doing this, by first we need to create an object. So let's create an object of edit text. I'm gonna call it name1. You can call it, and then you have to do find view by ID. Then you have to use r dot id dot then the ID of the name your entity. So here our ID is name1, since the let me show you the ID of this edit text is name1. So I'm get obtaining it in my program. So now let's see if first let's check if the mode is single pair. So what I'm trying to do is, if the user has entered the single pair mode, so user has selected single pair, then I want to remove this player 2 prompt from here, since there will be only one player, and then I will set this to enter your name. Since there is only one player, I don't need to use player 1. So I'm trying to do this. You will see it real quick now. So let's do oops. Let's do the same with name 2. Remember, you can change the names here. Personally, I use the same names, like my variable name and my ID object name and uh, ID name is same, but you can change these. For example, I can use some other name here or some other name here, but personally, I keep them same to get to make it more concise. So now let's use the if statement. So let's see if s is equal to 1. So if the user has selected a single pair, so I'm gonna use view.gone function on this edit text name to dot. I have to use the view.gone object. So what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to let me show you data. Yeah, I'm trying to remove this. I am trying to remove this. That's why I'm using the view.gone. So view.gone is used to remove something from the text. So that's that's what I'm trying to do. So let's name one dot set visibility. So in the visibility, I will use the view dot gone. So now what it will do, it will remove this name one, but remember we need to remove the name to one. So in case of single pair mode, if the user has clicked single pair mode, you will only see this one. This one will disappear, since by using this line of code we have removed it. We have set its visibility to gone. It has been removed. Also, I want to change the uh, hint. So the hint will be changed to enter your name only, since that's all we need. Right, so that's now done with. Also, what we need to do is I think this part is done. So yeah, this part is pretty much done. So that was all we needed. So we have entered the name, and we also set our hint. So now that was what we needed. So we have finished designing this part. So we are done with the designing of this part of our activity. So remember, I told you this function is executed as soon as our activity closes. Oh, sorry, as soon as our activity opens. So this will be executed as soon as our activity opens. So it will be executed in nanoseconds that you won't even feel its execution. So this code will be executed as soon as this activity starts. So as from this activity where the last activity. As soon as we are clicking uh, the single pair mode or multiplayer mode now, then this will start and this will be executed quickly. So if the user enters single player mode, then this will disappear in nanoseconds. So it won't be a problem. So now we have to create the coding of next button. So we are gonna use the same properties, the same edit text properties that we have used earlier, since we need to get the text from the user. So also we need two strings. So we need to get strings. So let's create two strings. The first one I will call it n2 and the second one I will call it n2. So now I have two strings created. So in the first string n1, I will store the name that will be entered in this field. So whatever will be entered in this field, I will get it by using what I am about to do now. So first I will use the object that I have created above, like this object name one. You can give it any name. Then I will use the get text function. So get text function is used to get text from the user, and then I will convert this text into string. So whatever the user will enter in this part, it will be converted into text form first, and then it will be converted into string. So it I will get it from the user and convert it into the string. I will do the same with n2, name2, and then I will store it into n2. So I have both my variables ready in which I have stored the text. So now this is also dealt with. Now I need to create an intent of the new class that I will be starting. So let me just pass the parameters. So I'm gonna use this parameter. You are already familiar with this. Then move that class. So now this will allow me to start a new activity, but we shouldn't immediately start it, since we need to pass our variables. We still need to know whether the user has entered single player mode or multiplayer mode. We need to be aware of that. So what I'm gonna do right now is I'm gonna see first that if the user has entered single player or multiplayer. So I'm gonna use if statement. So if s is equal to 1, that is single player mode, then I will pass this stuff. I will pass intent dot with extra single. I will pass the value of single 1, but this time I will also pass an additional variable, both of these variables at once. Then I'm gonna pass multiply similar to what we did in the previous activity. Then I'm gonna give it 0. So now I will know that single player is 1, that it's selected, and multiplayer is 0, since s is 1. So then I want to fix my n2. So my n2 will be always computer, since it's fixed. So I am fixing my 10 n2. Since in single player mode, there will be only this field. This will be empty. So that's why I am fixing it to computer. So I'm calling it computer in this case. But else I have to create the else block. Same stuff here, just I will change the values of single player and multiplayer to 0 and multiplier to 1. Then then I simply have to start the next activity. I think we are done with the other stuff. So also what we can do, yeah, I think that's all we need to do. Yeah, I can simply start the next activity, intent dot start activity. Sorry, start activity and intent activity, and I will pass the parameter of my object into it. So it will carry this data depending upon what the user has selected. In the case of single player, this data will be carried, and in the case of multiplayer, this data will be carried. But I also need to put the of the names of the users. So I will put those two here. Since they will be going anywhere, I don't need to put them into if. So I am passing player 1 here, name of the player 1, and then I'm this is my variable name, and then n1. So n1 will be stored into player 1 variable, and n2 will be stored into player 2 variable. So now I have also passed these names to the next activity. You can pass as much data as you want. So I also passed this. So this class is also completed. In the next class, we will create the single player mode, and or actually the multiplayer mode first. But that's it for today's video. Thank you for watching.